Hey folks, you may have heard about that deal Federal Heritage Minister Mélanie Joly announced the other day, namely that Netflix will commit at least $500 million to producing Canadian content over the next 5 years. But now comes the really hard part, namely, what sort of CanCon will Netflix produce? Well, the other day I had an epiphany regarding this matter, namely instead of coming up with 100% original programming, because really who's got time for that these days, how about Netflix goes the next generation route that the Star Trek franchise so successfully embraced? And indeed, just a couple of months ago it was announced that a new version of that disturbing 80s game show, Just Like Mom, is in the works. You remember Just Like Mom, don't you? It was co-hosted by Fergie Creepy Crawler Oliver, a man who never met a 12-year-old girl that he didn't want to kiss. Check out this clip, and whatever you do, folks, don't forget to put on your 3D glasses to experience the full horrific effect.
Oh, Leanne. I was almost going to call you Lori. How could I miss? Oh, it's very easy. You're both very pretty. And you have green eyes.
Blue.
Are they? They're not blue. Now, don't tell me that. Look at me a little closer. They're green. It's not cool, dude.
Whoa, that's scary, eh, kids? Does someone have the number for child services, by the way? Still, if they can resurrect dreck such as Just Like Mom, well then, everything is on the table. So here's 6 figures of free consulting advice to Netflix Canada. For here are a handful of uber schlocky shows that are oh so ripe for rebooting. Batting leadoff is a Canadian show that is regarded by several television scholars as perhaps being the worst sitcom ever produced. You know, the opening credits is all you really need to know about The Trouble with Tracy, a sitcom that featured such appalling production values it makes an amateur adult film shot on an iPhone look like 2001: A Space Odyssey. Then, of course, there was that sensational 70s show all about charades.
A doctor?
Oh, Miss Prendergast.
Doctor, I have just broken my glasses. Do you think I'll have to be examined all over?
No, unfortunately, just your eyes again.
Oh.
Time for television's zaniest half hour, Party Game.
Yes, TV's most zany half hour, thanks in part to recycling jokes that were already stale during the days of vaudeville. And you know, these days, science fiction is enjoying a resurgence. Well, Canada did sci-fi too back in the days of the Ford Pinto and polyester leisure suits. Check it out.
The giant Earthship Ark, drifting through deep space over 800 years into the far future. Its passengers, the descendants of the last survivors of the dead planet Earth, locked in separate worlds, heading for destruction. Unless 3 young people can save the Star Lost.
Yikes. Set your phasers on stunned, Trekkies, because that series was cheesier than a bucket full of Bulgarian feta. Finally, lest we forget, in the world of animation, there was plenty of Canadian crap produced back then too, including the cosmically rotten Rocket Robin Hood.
When the problems of Rocket Robin Hood call for heavy thinking, then it's time for the one and only Friar Tuck to come to the rescue. Some, like the wicked Sheriff of Knott, think him fat, foolish, and not worth worrying about. But don't you believe it? Friar Tuck, whose courage is as tremendous as his appetite, is just one of the astounding space characters in the merry band of Rocket Robin Hood.
Say, do you think we're all right now living in the fantastic years to come yet? I'll tell you one thing, given the rising obesity rate, maybe Rocket Robin Hood was ahead of its time in pioneering a form of martial artistry in which the person uses his own blubber as a weapon. What amazing foresight. In the meantime, Netflix Canada, what are you waiting for? After all, so much Canadian crapola, so little time for rebooting. For the Rebel.media, I'm David the Menzoid Menzies. Say folks, you may have heard we have a great new fall lineup. Please go to rebel.media/shows and check it out.